Today I want to show you a little bit about beekeeping. One of the biggest things about keeping bees is you can never have too many hives. But in order to have a hive, you have to have a queen bee. There's only one queen bee in every colony. So each of these other hives has one queen bee and a bunch of worker bees. So what we did to try to make our own queen was to take some brood. We took 2 frames. This is a frame. We took 2 frames out of one of the hives that had a lot of brood that were very young. The idea is that you need a tiny egg or you need just 1 or 2 day old larvae. And we took the bees that were around it and kept them. Those are nurse bees. They don't fly yet. They hatched, and their job is to take care of the baby bees until they're ready to go out. And we also took a frame that had a lot of pollen. I'll show you what the pollen looks like. Pollen is all this multicolored objects that are inside the hives, inside each of the little cells. So that helps their food. We also took frames of honey, capped honey. This is what a frame that has been what we call drawn. The bees have actually made all of this wax. These are some old frames that we had. Every time we either lose a hive or we're cutting back, then we put any frame in the freezer and just keep them there. That way everything that might be in it, any bugs are killed, and it keeps it ready for the next season. So my goal today, it's been just over 3 weeks, is we're going to open up this hive, and I'm going to look and see if we have a queen bee in there. And also, if this hive is large enough and has enough bees and there is a queen bee, I'll transfer it into a regular cell. The first thing I'm going to do is smoke the hive. What this does, it makes the bees think that the hive is in danger, and they'll actually go down into the hive and try to engorge all the honey that's in there, just in case they have to abandon it. So we'll just wait a second. The other thing I did when I was removing frames of brood and eggs is I saw some swarm cells, and these are cells that the worker bees have decided to make into queens on their own. Those would hatch out. The first one hatches out will kill all the other queen bee cells and take off with half the hive. This is their natural way of reproducing. What I wanted to do was to stop that and to save some for my own. So here we go. Let's hope we have good luck. This is just some brawny towels that I put in here that will also help trap, at times, all the hive beetles, which is a real problem right now. The hive beetles are these little, I don't know if you can see it, but there are some black ones. All right, we're going to try. We're going to pull out a couple of these frames and see if we find any new larvae. They're not very happy with me right now. Carefully inspect each of these and putting lots of honey in it.
Okay, I made.
But I do not see any queen bees nor any larvae. So we're going to keep looking. And here we do have, these are eggs, and there is new larvae. If you don't know if you can see the little white object in there, they're all down in here. But those are larvae, so that means we were successful in making a queen. Or rather, the worker bees were successful. And here is a lot more larvae and eggs. What you see here is the capped honey that they're using as food. So I'm excited to see this. I don't know if we'll be able to find the queen. If we can, I would like to catch her before I try to transfer these into another hive. The worst thing would be to lose my queen, since once they are, the interesting thing about the queen bees is once they make a queen bee, they actually have to leave the hive. They have to go to what they call drone areas. The drones are the male bees. Their one job is to fertilize the queen. And the more often that they're bred, the more eggs and the longer that they will supply. There's pollen right there that's on the legs of this worker queen. Worker bee, sorry, it's not a queen. Queens don't do anything but lay eggs. And these bees take care of her. I still don't see the queen. This is a really good laying queen. There's quite a good amount of eggs here. And cat larvae, I'm excited. And I think that we could probably go ahead and put these in the new hive. It's going to be a little tricky. That is what we're going to do. So let me get started. We want to keep each of the hives in the same order that they are. So I'm going to put this one right here. The nucleus hive only has 5 frames. These are 8-frame hives. So this is the first one out, and I'm going to put it in the same position it would have been. Put the second one in. And again, being very careful. Now, bees use a homing instinct. They will, when they are first able to start to fly, they will actually move completely out of the hive, but they will circle it several times to get their bearings. And that's why it's very important that I'm going to put this new hive right where this nuke was. And we're going to make it, I'm going to make it a little bit difficult for the bees to get out, and you'll see that in a little bit. That way they have to think about leaving, and they will help to reorientate themselves. Since once the queen bee comes back, she can't fly, I have to be very careful that we don't lose her. So I'm going to continue to look for her. She can certainly hide. So far, I do not see her. But that's okay. We know we have a queen bee. hard to find the one bee, but there she is. She's beautiful too. This is the queen bee right here. Can you see her? She's larger than the others. I'm not going to catch her because I do see her and I can get her in here safely. So this is what I'm going to do right now. Go ahead and get her into my box. Make sure that I don't smush her. See if I can find her again. Yep, there she is. She's high enough up. I won't get her on the bottom. Success. So what I'm going to do now is remove the nuke from the frame. We'll put this up and we'll shake the other bees into it. I do hope you got a good look at the queen. It's always exciting for me. Now, as I'm going to move this out of the way, oh, and they're heavy too, so give me a second. I don't know if you can tell, but we slope it just a little bit forward so that if any moisture or rain gets into a hive, it has a way out. Okay, now I'm going to try to shake these bees out, or as many as I can. They're going to smell the queen and they're going to know that this is her hive. The next thing I'm going to do is add a little bounty on here, hoping that I can kill some of these, trap some of the hive beetles. This is an inner cover, and what it helps to do, it gives them another entrance into the hive. And this one's called a wintering one, but we use it all year round. In the winter, if they need extra food, I take sugar and add a little bit of water so it becomes a firm patty, and it's called candy. And we'll put the candy into here and they'll slowly eat it and keep alive. And we'll put the top on. I'm going to set this one right back on it so that they'll kind of know that this is where they need to go. These are hive beetles. You see these right here. Those are devils. And what they'll do, I'm going to kill them. Sorry for all of you that save everything. They weaken the bees. And then the varroa mites that are very serious attack the bees, and that's how we can lose hives. We may even eventually have to go to treating, but I'm going to try not to. But we'll see. And once I can get most of these out, they will fly back into the new hive. And in a few weeks, I am going to look back in here, and if the other frames are built up, we have a lot of brood, we will add a second deep box. So this is a fast lesson in making additional hives in a more inexpensive but probably less reliable way. But we were successful. Thank you for listening.